观众朋友晚上好，欢迎收看最新一期的子天访谈录 SD Talk Show， 我是子天 Schedule。Welcome to SD Talk Show. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Sky. You look great. How are you today?
Very good. I'm happy to see you second time today.
Oh, that's great. So, what kind of pleasant surprise you have for us? I've heard you have some special guest today.
Yes, very special. I let him introduce himself.
Yes, our state representative.
Yes.
Ron Reynolds from District 27.
Danny, it's great to be on with you and this beautiful lady here, Sky. You guys are a dynamic duo. I'm honored to be on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron. Would you tell the audience how long you have been serving at a state representative?
So I'm just completing my 6th term, which is 12 years, and I'm seeking my 7th term. And if I'm reelected, I'll start my 13th year in January of 2023.
I just asked, but I knew very well when you first elected.
You've been a part of it. You've been along the journey since the beginning, Danny.
Yes, from the very beginning,
right,
Ron.
That's correct.
But you have been active way before that. You don't just pop up and run.
Yes.
So would you share with our audience about your background and how did you happen to go into politics?
Sure. So I'm a lawyer by trade, and I've been very active and involved in the community for many, many years. So, for example, when you were president of a chamber, I was president of the local Missouri City NAACP. I also have served as past president of the Houston Lawyers Association. I was the former Mayor Lee P. Brown appointed me as an associate municipal judge for the city of Houston. I did that. I've worked as a volunteer for Fort Bend Independent School District. I've served on the Bond Advisory Committee. I've been involved and active with the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce. And in fact, you and I met with the Fort Bend leadership. That's how I got a chance to meet Danny. We did the leadership, and that really opened my eyes up to a lot of things in Fort Bend and introducing me to a lot of the Fort Bend leaders in business and civic. And because of my involvement, many people and a burning desire to help people, they asked me to run for public office.
Yeah.
But my background is in law and business as a title company owner in real estate. And Danny, in fact, that's how you and I did business together. And as I was a fee attorney for American Title for many years and First American Title. So I have a wide background, but more business and political.
Right. You, as a business owner and entrepreneur, and then you seem to connect with that group of audience very well.
Yes.
So what kind of difficulties and challenges do you see in a small business owner nowadays, Ron?
Well, a lot of people don't understand the significance of small businesses, but small businesses are the economic engines that drive our economy. 97% of job growth is hiring from small businesses, not Shell and Walmart, but it's the small business, the 10 to 100 to 200 employees. It's the small businesses. So we have to really help them to get their footing in terms of helping them get financing, because most businesses fail because of lack of finance. They don't know how to go get a loan. They don't know how to draw a business plan up. They don't know how to get access to capital. They need to learn how to network so that they can expand their business through relationships and transactions. Danny's been great about building relationships because most of it is word of mouth in terms of how you get new customers. Then you also have to know how to advertise properly and market your business. You have to know how to leverage your time. And so a lot of businesses fail because they don't know that. They don't have a mentor. They don't have a coach. So we have to help them. And then they lack the resources on how to cut through all the minutia when it comes to permitting and different government regulations. So they may not have the money to go hire a lawyer or a consultant. So there's so much that goes into it. But most importantly, they need to have a business plan and a mentor if they're starting from scratch.
Right. Sometimes in politics, people have a different point of views.
Yes.
Everybody have a different point of views because, but what I like about you is that you have the ability to separate.
You have to.
And then you focus on the common things.
Yeah. So too many people focus on what divides us, right? Whether skin color, race, religion, socioeconomic status. I focus on what what kind of commonality we have. And so we can build bridges. And if you get past the stereotypes and misconceptions,
right.
then we have more in common than we have apart.
Right.
Most people care about families. They care about safe neighborhoods.
Right.
They care about good schools and education for their kids and a good environment. So we have more in common than we have apart. And I focus on those commonalities. How can we work together? I believe our diversity is our strength. When you talk about, different races and different ethnicities and different religions, and I believe truly, I'm a proud Christian, but I believe there's one race, and that's the human race. And too many people focus on differences. I focus on what do we have similar, and in terms of values. And if you boil down to it, a lot of us have a lot of common values. We just, unfortunately, the people get divided based on party affiliation, and then they don't work together. There's so much gridlock, and both sides are to blame. Democrats, Republicans. I wish sometimes we could get rid of labels and just be people. And Danny, that was one thing great about being in local government, with city government, that is nonpartisan. But unfortunately, it's become too partisan, and that's when you get into more chaos and gridlock. We need to get back to the basics of doing what's best for people.
Right. At the end of the day, Ron, we all want the same thing.
Yes.
We are human. We want.
Yes.
We want a happy life.
Yes.
We want to be safe.
Yes.
We want security. So you seem to understand. What I like about you is that you have the ability to put differences aside.
I have to.
And Sky, sometimes in our community, we have different events.
Yes.
Yeah.
He comes regardless of what.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yes.
it speaks very loudly, whether Republican or Democrat.
It doesn't matter.
But when the community needed him, he's
Right.
there. You want to ask him some.
Yeah. I see you everywhere. Whatever rainy or the day.
Hot, cold, rain.
Yeah. You
Man, that's
always
a big
there.
compliment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, because, and that's how I met you at different events within, whether it's, the Chinese Lunar New Year or whatever it is. I believe the way that people, you know what, Danny, the way we get past the stereotypes and misconceptions, if you're around people, then you see, well, this person isn't what I heard they were. I met Sky, I met Danny, they're great. Or I met Joan or Jane, and they're not what I saw on TV or what someone told me. When you have that personal interaction, it breaks down barriers, and that is what most people need to do. Get outside of their comfort zone. Get outside of their own communities. Go visit Chinatown. Go visit a Buddhist temple. Go visit the mosque. That way you understand and have a better appreciation for people's values and their culture, and then you can respect it. I may not have the same culture with you, but if I can appreciate it, then I'm not trying to force you to accept mine, just like you're not forcing me to accept yours, but we can embrace each other's, and so we can work together. You can come to my events, and I can come to yours. And at the end of the day, I think that makes us have a great international community that we can call home. The most diverse community. Fort Bend is the most diverse county in the country.
Yeah.
And we need that diversity to be reflected within our government and within our businesses and in our leadership. And we all need to work together to support one another.
Yeah. But Sky said you're everywhere, not only in Fort Bend. He's in Harris County, and he's here in the International District.
I love this place.
I like that. A lot of people, they promise, Sky, they said accessibility.
Yeah,
accessibility.
Right.
I mean, this is a true example of accessibility. Sometimes it's easy said than done.
That's right.
And do you think that your opposing political affiliate are your enemies?
No, they're not.
How can you justify that? I mean, if your fellow Americans, your neighbors, should an enemy should be somebody outside the real enemy?
Should be. Enemy should be someone who is threatening your country and your safety. They're trying to invade. Those terrorists that attacked America on 9/11, those were the enemies.
That's the enemies.
That's the enemy. That's the true enemy, right? People who are trying to harm your family, whether they're trying to break in your home, that's an enemy.
But your fellow Americans with different philosophy.
We differ, right? Yeah. We may be on opposing ends, but we're not enemies. I don't see that. Some people see them as enemies, and that shapes their perception of how they interact with that person. Because I'm not going to interact with you well if you're an enemy. I'm trying to destroy you. I'm trying to kill you. I'm not trying to work with you. But if someone is not an enemy, you say, well, we can agree to disagree, but let's move past that. We may not agree on everything, but let's try to work this out. But if you're an enemy, Unless there's someone's calling a truce or someone is surrendered, then you're at war.
Okay, is that why you are comfortable at step into different parties' event? I've seen you at Republicans. I've seen you
because
here
I don't
and there.
look
You
at them
shake
as enemies.
hands. Yeah, but okay, what if your base? What if your affiliation think the fact that you going to cross the line?
They have.
How do you justify that?
You know what I tell them? I say, look, I'm never going to sell out my principles or what I believe in, but I need to build a consensus. In order for us to get things done, it takes bipartisan support.
Right,
I need to build a consensus. That's helped me, Danny, to be effective when some other people weren't effective because they only work with their own party. If I only worked with my own party, I would not be able to deliver for my constituents.
Right.
Okay, I wouldn't be able to deal with relationships with Commissioner Andy Myers and other people across the aisle if I just stayed in a silo. So for me, I justify it by I'm never going to compromise who I am and what I believe in, but at the same time, I have to be open to compromise. Sometimes I can't get everything I want.
Sure.
I mean, no one can, right?
Compromise.
That's the way it works. Compromise is not a bad word, but in politics right now, that has become a stigma. Oh, you're a sellout, or you're a dino, Democrat and only, or Republican and a rhino. I think those labels are terrible, and it's become worse within the. You know, I'm just going to be honest with you. In this MAGA, Make America Great, they don't see compromise. And then there's some people on my party, Democrats, that feel the same way. And I think that's the problem with our country right now. We have too many people that are talking at each other instead of talking to each other. Instead of working things out, they rather fight. Everybody's evil. They want them in jail. They want them dead. I don't think that's a good solution and a healthy to be a statesman. A statesman to me sees across the aisle. They see solutions. They're solution driven instead of problem oriented. Some people focus on the problem. I focus on the solution.
Right. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I like you talk the way. So I know I saw the picture. Probably last year you went to the White House.
Yes.
About to pass a bill. Can you talk about that? Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to remember which one because I've been several times. Which one it was because I've been there numerous times. So you have to refresh me on which time it was.
I saw you have a good lunch with the team in the restaurant.
Let's pick one that you have most memorable experience.
So one time, most recently, when I was at the White House with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. I was there because I was one of the Texas leaders that was focused on really helping support the Voting Rights Act of 1965. I was one of the leaders that was there to help people protecting the freedom to vote. And if you may have saw, there was a lot of national attention on legislators that left Texas to go to D.C. I was one of the leaders to help spearhead that. You know, because one of the things that I believe in is that in America, Danny, and you understand this, you and I have talked about the American dream. You know, this is a nation of immigrants, right? But at the core of it, voting is the most precious fundamental right. It is a bedrock of our democracy. And any time that there's a challenge to our voting and our free access to voting, then it challenges the bedrock of our democracy because we want to make voting more accessible so that no one has barriers to voting. Everyone who is an American citizen that is of age to vote, that is registered, we want them to be able to vote. And so I was at the White House. They were recognizing me as one of the champions protecting freedom to vote in our democracy.
Okay. You know, we don't have a lot of time, so we're not going to focus on really politics. Let's put politics aside, Ron. The reason I asked you that, because we respect your belief.
Yes.
You know, we have different beliefs, but I respect the fact that you were business owners, you were entrepreneurs, and the fact actions speak louder than words.
Correct.
The fact that you came every time that we have a grand opening in our city, you were there. Every time there's something happened to the business, you stand up and you be the voice of the people. Tell us about the bill that you passed in Austin about how to help small business owners.
So Danny, as you said, you're right. When I'm there to support ribbon cuttings, it's to let the community know this is a local business that we need to get behind. We need to highlight them and support them, and so that people know that they're open, that they can support them. But I filed legislation, Danny, in the legislature, and we were able to pass it to strengthen the opportunities for small businesses. There's a bill I passed to strengthen it for small businesses. For any contract $100,000, under $100,000, they have to have a subcontracted plan to give opportunities for small businesses. I passed another bill to help women businesses, minority businesses through the HUB program. The state of Texas has a HUB, historically underutilized business program. So any business that's 51% or more that is owned by a minority of Vietnamese, African American, Chinese, whatever it is, have to be a minority, Native American, then they can qualify, women-owned business, and a veteran, the service-disabled veteran.
Yes.
They qualify as a hub. In any business, any contract that the state government does that has $100,000 or more, the prime has to have a minority subcontracting plan where they, in good faith, try to utilize a small hub business. And that has created so much economic empowerment within the Asian community, within the Hispanic community, within the African American community, but overall in the women that were historically left out of opportunity. So that has been a great benefit to our diverse communities. Many businesses have come to me today to say, look, we're in business today because of this program. They're now doing a disparity study in the city of Missouri City, Danny, Fort Bend County. Commissioner Ellis has implemented one in Harris County. The state of Texas has one, HCC, the Port, Metro, our school districts are doing it. So all these economic opportunities now are going to even be strengthened for our minority and small businesses. So I'm very proud to have been on the front end of that, to help them to get opportunities so they can build capacity as a sub to build their way up to be a prime. That's the ultimate goal, where they can build, they can graduate from this, build capacity, and be able to hire more people.
Right. Sky, those are the kind that voters should look for. Talk is cheap. When a politician ran, they can talk about, but it all boils down to, what kind of actions, what kind of bill they pass. You may want to contact with Representative Ron Reynolds about more further about information, so you can spread the word to the community. Okay. So they'll be more aware of that. That's awesome, Ron. So you are willing to stand up.
Absolutely.
And small businesses are the backbone of the economy.
Man. We got to support our small businesses.
Yes.
And many of them suffered tremendously during COVID. They were just trying to keep the lights on. So I was happy that there were different programs for pandemic relief, but we have to continue to create opportunities so that they can compete. No one should be given a handout, but everyone should be given an opportunity to compete, and that's all we try to do, is to give information so that people understand where it is and how to get it. I'm not trying to give you anything, but if you're willing to work hard, like Danny and other people, and live the American dream, then come on, I will help you. No one's gonna just say, hey, here's a contract, here you go. But you have to be prepared, and you have to understand the rules of engagement, but I think everyone should have a level playing field.
Yeah, because you understand the triple effect.
Yes.
You help these people, if he or she prosper, and then they turn around, create jobs. They're paying, can you imagine one business closed down, Sky? When you want one door shut, it's not only that.
Because
his family, the employees in that, the sales tax,
all that, that leads
so
to
helping that person is helping the community. Is that what you're saying?
It's building the community. It's helping the local grocery store. It's helping the gas station. It's helping the retailers, because when those people have resources, they go buy goods and services. So it trickles down and helps the economy lift up. So that's why it's so important that we help them be successful, so they can hire and they can keep those people employed.
Yeah. Let me ask you, small business owners have to deal with so many things.
Yes.
Internal affairs and external affairs and competitors and all that. They have too much.
Correct.
And in addition to that, Ron, they have to deal with government.
Yes.
What do you think about the current rules and regulations
I think
that are being inputted on small business
owners. Sometimes they're overburdensome. We need to have more certainty for businesses to be able to. We need to cut a lot of the red tape that government has. Sometimes it's so hard for them, Danny, to get a permit. It's so hard for them to understand what they need to do to get the occupancy and this and that. They need to get this insurance. So we need to make it where it's simpler and streamlined and cut some of the red tape.
Yeah.
So cut some of the difficulties. I heard so many people say how I have this, but I can't even do it because the city won't. I got to jump through this hoop, jump that, do that, get a fire inspection, get this and that. We need to make it easier and more business friendly. We need to create business friendlier environment, and that's one of the things government can do. They can set up an opportunity to make it easier for small businesses that don't have a lobbyist, that don't have a lawyer that go through all this expensive. They may not be able to pay a retainer of $5,000, $10,000. That shouldn't be an impediment. Government should make it easier for people to understand how they can get open and operational, and then get out the way. Get out the way. Let them do what they do.
You know, sometimes, Sky, I see Ron, not unusual. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, so I can't first name, but you are watching our show with State Representative Ron Reynolds of District 27th. And then sometime I saw him. The people that I know, he stepped out of the way. You know, so he called, he helped to make a phone call to certain government agency.
It's so important.
What motivated you to do that?
Because,
I mean, it's like an extra step.
Yeah, because I know there's so many people in positions that I'm in. It's a position of power and privilege.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it for their own benefit. Me, I use it to help others, to live. I believe my faith teaches me, to whom much is given, much is required. I have an awesome responsibility to pay it forward, to bring up the next person. Because, Danny, there are people who sacrifice for me to get where I'm at. I want to be able to help pull the next person up. And I in this position, I know a lot of resources. So if I can help them expedite, avoid pitfalls, let them take a path towards least resistance, then I do that. Hey, let me invite you here to this entrepreneurial workshop, this government procurement opportunity.
Right.
Let me host this, and I do that. And
when that person call you, Ron, you never ask, you never qualify that person, right? Are you what kind of political affiliation?
No.
What religions are you? I mean, what school did you go to?
Exactly.
You didn't ask that, right?
No. Danny, there's software that, unfortunately, there's software I could look up and say, hey, what's your name? Okay, what's your address? Okay. Oh, no, I'm not going to help this person.
Okay.
No, I don't do that. I don't ask that. If they're a person,
you're genuinely doing that.
I'm trying to help that person. I don't care if they're black, white, Asian.
Even they disagree with you and your philosophy.
No, I don't care. That's not important to me. And hopefully one day I maybe to win that person over, but that's not my primary objective. Yeah. My primary objective is to help them when they call me in need. When they call me in need, they're calling me because they need some help. And it would be a shame for me. It'll be an abuse of my power if I say, well, you're not one of the people that support me, so I'm not going to help you. But there are a lot of elected officials that do that. To me, they're not really true public servants. They're in it for themselves, and they should be voted out of office, because that's wrong. We got too many people that are self-serving and only help people that help them, and only help people they agree with. I need to help everybody.
Okay. We got a few minutes left, so I want to give you an opportunity, Sky, to ask any question that you ask for the state representative.
I know you from the people, you are the state representative, but I know a lot of audience want to know your personal life.
Sure.
So you're very busy, you are everywhere.
Yes.
So you have to balance your time.
It's tough, yes. It's a sacrifice. You know, I have a daughter that's in a sophomore at UT Austin, a college pre-med student, and then I have 2 children that are in 6th grade now. So my family is so important to me. But it's important to have a balance and a healthy life, to work and quality time with the kids, so that they know that their dad is there to support them at the Little League game, to support them at the father-daughter dance. So for me, I try to maintain a healthy balance between work life and private life. And sometimes it's hard to do that. It takes a lot of sacrifice, because your family, sometimes I'm in Austin for months at a time, or I'm in DC. You know, I was there for like a month and a half straight, you know. So it takes a lot, but that I knew what I signed up to when I took that commitment. I raised the right hand to give the oath that I would be there to support my constituents, that my family understood. But at the same time, anytime I can push aside something to be with my family, you have to make those priorities. If you don't make it a priority, it'll be all work. But that'll be neglecting my responsibility. My first responsibility as a father is to make sure I provide, and I make sure I do that. But you have to be cognizant of balancing work and private life.
It's not easy, Scott.
No, it's tough.
The fact is that you have to sacrifice your business.
Yeah, you have to. It's no.
I mean, this is the path. You have chosen. You've chosen the path.
Exactly.
They chose it, you know, because you placed the public interest above yours.
Or I'll give you an example. I know some elected officials, they focus almost all of their energy on their private life, and they neglect their public life. But you took an oath, and now people say, where's this person? Then you, like you say, you see me all the time. There's some people they say they never see. Where are they? They only see them when they're up for re-election. Hey, vote for me, here's my card. Hey, vote for me, here's my sign. That's wrong too. So you have to have a balance. You have to be able to strike that balance.
But it looks like you really love your job. You really
I'm passionate.
enjoy.
Yes, I'm passionate.
He's a good speaker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? I should ask one of the days when he retires, if he retires, he can teach public speaking.
Didn't you do Toastmasters?
Yes, I did.
I remember that. See, I remember that. He did Toastmasters. I meant to do it with him, but you know what? I get a lot of experience.
Where did you learn your public speaking?
Because from doing it over and over again, the more you do it, the better you get. It's like anything, is practice makes perfect. It's persistence. When I first started speaking, I was so nervous to get in front of a crowd. Do you know the biggest fear is death and public speaking? Those are the two biggest fears. You Google it.
Wow.
Public speaking and death. Most people would rather avoid public speaking. It takes a lot. So the first time I did it, I clammed up, I stuttered, but I got back up and did it again. And the more and more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Wow. So it's just repetition.
Look at him now. Now we cannot stop him.
It's just repetition. But I love it. We've both grown.
Too passionate.
We've both grown. You know, anybody say they have it all, they're lying to you.
So you think I have improved too?
Yeah, but you tremendously.
We both have.
We both have. But that's what it takes. It takes persistent practice, and you're always owning your skills. You're always getting better. Looking at reading books, going to seminars, going Toastmasters, looking at others, finding mentors. I still have a lot of growth.
Yeah. But you know, one thing, Scott, before we end, is that it's not about how good a person talk, but when his true desire, genuineness came across, then it's overcome everything. That's what make it.
You're right.
What make it interesting, because he connect with people.
That's the key, Daddy. Some people can be like a slick salesman, a car salesman. He may be the greatest talker, but he's selling you a lemon. I'd rather be genuine and sincere in what I do. And that's what I try to do. I try to do, a lot of things I do is off of passion and my heart for serving others. So there are some great speakers who are just, that's all they are, is a great speaker, but they're empty suit, no substance. I try to be a decent speaker, but an effective person. When you call me, my word is my bond. And when you ask me to do something, I deliver. When you need me in the community, I show up.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think our audience more like you today after your talk.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honored that you all thought enough of me to invite me to your show. There's a lot of people that could have been here today, and I'm so grateful you chose me.
Thank you, Ron. We got a couple more minutes, so why don't we give state representative an opportunity to have a final word, you know, whatever you want to tell our audience.
Sure.
That you want them to know about you that they may not know about you.
Well, I am very passionate about what I do. And what I do is because of my love for service, my sense of there were people who made sacrifices for me, as I said, to get here. And my ultimate goal in life is to pave it better for the next generation, for the children, to make sure they have access to strong, quality public schools, to make sure that people have access to health care. Health care is so important for all of us to have. Economic opportunities, so our business community, particularly our small business community, is able to have a vibrant atmosphere for job growth and economic opportunities. So those are the core beliefs that I have: education, quality, strong quality schools, to make sure that we have climate and a safe environment, public safety, supporting law enforcement so that our communities can be safe, people can feel safe going and shopping. Crime, unfortunately, sometimes escalates. It's important that we have law enforcement and we support them. So those are the core beliefs that I have, Danny.
Now, say that in Chinese and Vietnamese. Right, Sky?
You got me. Hey, you gotta. I would love to go on a trade mission with you one day.
We will.
I would love to do that.
Yes,
that would be great.
Trade mission. Okay, Sky. I think that's all I have for today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being with us.
Thank you both. It's an honor.
Yes.
Hopefully, I see you soon again.
Please invite me back to the show one day in the future.
You're going to ask him to teach you public speaking, right?
Yeah.
You have to teach me. You have to teach me a new language.
Yeah, 再见. You can say Chinese 再见.
Say it to you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. 这就是今天的子天访谈录. We see you next week.